Welcome back to our latest deep dive.
Hello.
Today, we're digging into something pretty fundamental. It's shaking up how anything, really, or anyone, gets seen online.
We're talking about AI's impact on search, right? And what that means for, well, marketing, visibility, the whole package.
Exactly. And we're basing this discussion specifically on some excerpts we've got from a Haptic blog post. It's titled, AI-Driven Search and the Evolution of Marketing. So our mission today, really, is to get to grips with how AI is changing search. What kind of content is suddenly, rising to the top?
And crucially, what does this mean for you listening? If you're trying to be seen online, be credible, how do you actually thrive now?
Right, based specifically on what this source tells us.
Okay, so let's start with the big picture. The source points out a really significant change from, well, how things used to work.
Yeah, the old system felt relatively simple in hindsight, didn't it? It was heavily weighted towards things like backlinks.
Getting other sites to link to you.
Right, or just, how much money you poured into online ads, pushing yourself up the rankings that way.
And the argument here is that AI-powered search is, well, it's playing a different game. Those old signals aren't the main thing anymore.
So what is the main thing now?
The new focus, according to this source, is on information that is new, credible, and highly relevant.
New, credible, relevant. That feels like a definite shift. So what's the immediate fallout from that? The consequence?
Well, the source suggests that content based on actual scientific work and solid journalism is becoming way more important for visibility.
More than before.
Much more. It seems like AI is sort of designed to value that inherent credibility.
Okay, I can see the logic there. AI trying to find reliable stuff. But how does it know? How do these AI models, like the ones in Microsoft Copilot the source mentions, how do they figure out what's credible?
The source mentions a few key things they look for. First off, real-time updates.
Freshness matters.
A lot. AI seems to prefer dynamic, current info over static stuff, like an old ad that just sits there unchanged.
Right. Okay, what else?
Second, authoritative sources. This is big. Content from, well-researched studies, peer-reviewed papers, credible reports. That carries a lot more weight.
Seen as more trustworthy.
Exactly, which directly explains why that scientific and journalistic content gets a boost, right? It often comes from those places.
Makes sense. And there was a third factor.
Yes, semantic relevance. This is where it gets quite sophisticated. AI isn't just matching keywords anymore.
It understands the meaning.
Pretty much. The context, the deeper meaning, the intent behind the content and the search. It's looking at ideas, relationships, much more than just text strings.
Wow, yeah, understanding meaning, not just words. That's a fundamental change. Does the source back this up with any, data?
It does mention some recent studies showing a clear trend. AI search tools are referencing things like online news, academic papers, corporate reports.
More than ads?
Much more frequently than standard digital ads, yeah.
Okay, and this is where it got really interesting for me. There was that specific statistic from the AI Marketing Institute report.
Yes, that one really stands out. According to the source, citing that report, businesses that actively maintain scientific publications, they saw a 35% increase in AI-generated visibility.
35%? Compared to who?
Compared to businesses relying only on paid promotions.
Wow. Okay. Just from publishing scientific work versus just buying ads, that single number really drives home how big this shift is. It's not small change.
Not at all. It suggests a fundamental reordering.
So if this is the new landscape, what does it actually mean we need to do for companies or, even individuals trying to get noticed? What are the implications?
What needs to change in practice?
Yeah.
Well, the source points to a few key adjustments. First, and this seems crucial, is adapting content strategies. Meaning shifting away from being so ad-heavy or just pushing sales messages. Moving towards a model focused on content-driven engagement.
Creating value first, basically. Knowledge.
You got it. Second, actively investing in credibility. The source is really clear on this. Making scientific or journalistic contributions directly boosts your AI ranking. It's not just nice to have anymore.
So credibility is kind of the new SEO in this AI world.
In the context described here, yeah, that's a good way to put it. And third, the source talks about continuous knowledge creation.
Not a one-off thing.
No. Regularly putting out meaningful insights seems key for sustained visibility, building that reputation over time.
Right, becoming a reliable source consistently. The source then gets into specific strategies, doesn't it?
Yeah.
For actually thriving in this AI era.
It does. The practical steps suggested: first, focus on thought leadership.
Being the expert.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Position yourself or your brand as a go-to knowledge hub, a place people and AI turn to for insights, not just marketing fluff.
Makes sense. What else?
Second, publish industry reports. This feeds directly into that credibility factor. The source suggests things like releasing original scientific studies or maybe detailed trend analyses for your sector.
So you become the source of the authoritative content itself.
Precisely. Third, engage in AI-friendly SEO, which links back to that semantic relevance idea.
Meaning?
Optimizing for meaning, context, user intent, not just stuffing keywords, making your content genuinely relevant and easy for AI and users to understand deeply.
Clear, comprehensive answers, not just keyword lists.
You've got it. And finally, the source suggests leveraging AI for content creation.
Using AI to make content for AI.
Kind of. Using AI tools to help generate the type of dynamic, engaging, insightful articles and reports that these AI search models seem to favor.
Huh. That's an interesting lip. This whole approach sounds like it offers a real edge competitively.
The source certainly argues that. It
Yeah.
contrasts sharply with traditional ads, which can feel, interruptive. This AI-optimized marketing wins on relevance and credibility.
And the leading companies.
According to the source, they're the ones producing expert content, getting involved in scientific discussions, publishing timely news. They're building themselves into the sources AI wants to cite.
Ensuring visibility as old-school ads maybe become less effective in AI search.
That seems to be the implication.
Okay, so if you adopt this approach, how do you even know if it's working? The old metrics, like ad clicks, don't seem to fit perfectly. What does the source say about measuring success?
Good question. It suggests new kinds of metrics. Things like tracking AI-generated mentions.
How often the AI actually cites your stuff?
Exactly. When it's answering user queries, that's a direct measure of being seen as authoritative by the AI.
That is powerful. What else?
Looking at organic traffic growth, sure, but specifically attributing it to gains from your authoritative content, not just old SEO tactics.
Traffic driven by trust, essentially.
Yeah. And finally, developing a brand authority score. Something measured over time based on how AI interacts with and references your content in its results and responses.
Building that reputation within the AI ecosystem itself?
It shifts the focus from being the loudest advertiser to being the most trusted source, validated by AI.
Okay, got it. Now we should mention the source we're using, Haptic. They also bring up their own R&D consulting services in this context, don't they?
Yes, they do. They connect their services to navigating this shift.
So,
They talk about things like business tech audits, innovation management, tech transfer help, even funding advice, presenting these as ways for companies to align their strategies with these AI trends.
so the idea is their consulting could help companies actually produce the kind of studies and reports AI values, or find the resources for it.
That seems to be the connection they're making, providing pathways, R&D planning, funding for research to help businesses become those credible knowledge creators that AI search rewards. It's positioned as their solution.
Okay. Well, this has been really insightful digging into this Haptic piece. The main takeaway for me is crystal clear.
What's that?
In this world of AI-driven search, the most valuable currency isn't really ad dollars or links anymore. It's credibility, built on genuinely valuable, knowledgeable content.
It's a pretty fundamental shift in thinking about online presence.
And it's not just for big corporations, is it? If you are putting any content out there, personal brand, small business, whatever, you need to think about how AI sees your credibility.
It pushes everyone towards being a creator of genuine value, doesn't it?
It really does. Which leaves us with a final thought to chew on.
Go on.
If AI search truly values deep expertise and credible information above all else, how might rethinking your own online activity, coming at it from the perspective of an expert or knowledge creator rather than just a promoter, how might that change what you create and where and how you share it?